gonna start. Are you ready?
Down
Okay.
will be up later.
Ben. I still have one more house to place somewhere. Right now, we have 2 houses out here and 2 in here, which means there's the same amount in both. So where do you think we might need more houses at this point? Where do you think, Brandon?
Suburban.
Suburban. You want to come put one up?
Because then.
And maybe let's put one more, because we want to show that there's a lot more houses.
And this 3 and there.
Have your seat until I called on you. All right, I need one more person to put up a house for me, and I'm going to ask Kendall to come up and put a house up for me. I still have a few more things to put up. So I'm looking for someone who's ready. Okay, the next thing that I would like you to help me do on this poster, please stop. I have some great big, tall, skyscraper buildings. These are the kind of buildings. They call it skyscrapers because they look like they could touch the sky. They scrape the top of the sky.
Except for those.
Great big tall. There are a lot of these. Have you been to Portland before? Like downtown Portland? So Abby, will you raise your sign up really high? Look at the sign. Everybody look at Abby's sign.
Whoa. Lots of big.
Zach, you're looking up there, Bella. We're looking at Abby's sign. Those big, tall buildings that go to the very top of the picture, that's the kind of buildings that I have here. So what kind of community has these type of buildings? Which type of community? Brandon? Ben? I really need you to focus. Jade, where do you think this building would belong? Where do you think? Who else is ready? Chloe, why don't you come put a building out? Ben. I have one more building. I'm gonna have. Whoop. You okay? Okay. So, now I want to talk about something a little bit different. So here's what I'm going to do. I want you to pretend that you are an adult. Close your eyes. Close your eyes for me, because that helps us make kind of like a picture, a movie in our head as I talk. Close your eyes. You're an adult, and it's time for you to buy a house. Think about maybe what you want your house to be like. What kinds of things you want to be around your house. Do you want to live where you could maybe own a horse? Or maybe where you can go shopping and to the movies whenever you want. Think about what kind of house or community you might want to live in. Okay, open your eyes.
I know where
Oh, I didn't ask for you to say it yet. Turn to the person next to you and tell them what you were envisioning, what you thought in your head, and why.
I'm still keen.
Okay, go ahead and wrap up your conversation. I'll take the pictures. And you guys can go sit back down right there for your house.
You don't have that much stuff.
Okay. Do you have it in your head where you want to live? Are you raising your hand to tell me what you shared with your partner? right, who would like to share? Sammy?
Urban.
Urban, why?
Because there's tall buildings.
What do you like about that? What makes you want to live there? Kind of exciting? Something different, maybe? What else? Who else has something they'd like to share? Javier?
Suburban.
Suburban, why?
Because there's houses.
Lots of houses. Why do you like that?
Because you can get to meet their neighbors.
Lots of neighbors, people you can hang out with and meet, right? What else, Kendall?
I would be a billionaire and buy a mansion in a suburban setting.
Why would you like a suburban setting? Lots of neighbors. Good.
Yeah.
Anybody have something different that they've thought about or talked about? I'm looking for quiet hands. Sam?
I want to be in a big chunk of property.
Big chunk of property, maybe.
Big chunk of property.
Yeah. Oh, let's let him finish. So you could have horses? Yeah, you could have lots of animals. Mm-hmm. That would be pretty nice, wouldn't it? Brandon, do you have something else?
I'd like to live in the White House in a suburban.
Okay. Why suburban?
Because there's lots of houses and you can meet lots of new friends and neighbors.
Okay. Before we move on,
Hey, I want to know.
I know you have lots of ideas you got to share with your partner. I want everybody to stand up. Here's what I'd like you to do. I want you to pretend that this classroom is a big chunk of land. Now, before you move or talk, Brian, before you move, girls, before you talk, before, I don't want you to touch anything, I just want you to be able to stand on the ground without touching a desk or touching anything else. If this was a huge piece of land and you are each a person and let's say a house that you live in, you represent your own house. If we were in an urban community, how would we look as a group? Show me. Show me. Would we be all spread out? Would we be kind of spread out? Would we be all clumped together? What do you think? Show me. So a lot of you are moving towards the middle. Why are you doing that? You're clumped together. Now back to your spot. Back to your spot. Back to your spot. Okay, your voices need to be off and you need to be ready in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. You need to go back to your desk. But actually go back there. Ben. Are you ready? Okay. One last thing. I want to show you something. A lot of you clumped up when I asked you what it would be like in that kind of community, right? An urban community. I want to show you something. So I have a circle. I'm going to ask some of you to help me out. I have sticky notes. And these sticky notes, boys, represent your house. I'm going to ask you, no matter where you want to live, let's just pretend. When I call your name, I want you to take a sticky note, and I want you to plant your house in this area. Let's pretend that this land is awesome. It's exactly where you've always wanted to live. Please don't touch. So, let's say that Hayden wants to move there, and that Josh wants to live there, and Kendall wants to live there, and Mackenzie wants to live there. It needs to be inside. It has to be inside. Or else your house will fit. Let's say that Chloe wants wants to live there. Oh, one thing, I'm noticing that this house is on top of this house. Is that going to work? No, let's move it. Make sure everyone's touching.
Maybe
When you're done, sit back down. Let's say that Ashley wants to live there. And that Isaac wants to live there. And Sam wants to live there. Ashley's saying it's looking pretty crowded in there. Do you think there's... Oh, before I call anybody else. It's a little small. Before I ask anybody else, Brandon, Sammy, before I ask anybody else to live here, I'm a little bit worried that if we're all just living in a house, some of us are already kind of stacked on top of each other because we ran out of space. Here's what I want you to do. Without opening your mouth, just using your head, think about how we can fix this problem because not all of us live here yet and we all need a place to live. How can we fix this problem so that we can all live in here? Think about a problem. Think about a solution to this problem. How can we fix this? There's too many of us living in such a small space. How can we all fit? And we still have more people. Think about it. What do you think, Sammy?
Stretch it out.
Stretch it out? What if we can't stretch it out? What do we do if we only have this space and we have lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of people that want to live there? How can we make it so everyone fits? What do you think, Elias?
Buy more property.
Remember I said you can't make it bigger. It's only the space you're given. This is as big as it's going to get. What can you do, Ashley?
Live in an apartment.
What would an apartment do?
Make it so more people can live there.
Yeah, what does an apartment look like?
That's what I was thinking.
Raise your hand. What does an apartment look like, or what is it like? Abby, what's an apartment like? Usually very tall, sometimes. Sometimes they're fancy. What does it mean? How is a house different than an apartment? How are they different?
They're like a whole bunch of houses stacked.
They're like a whole bunch of houses stacked on top of each other. So let's say, I like that idea. Let's say, Brandon, are you ready? Let's say that we use that idea and we stack all these houses on top of each other. What's happening to our space? Brian, come sit up here.
Bigger.
Raise your hand. What's happening to our space? I'm moving all the houses to stack on top of each other. What's happening to this space we have? Bella?
It's getting bigger.
It's not getting bigger, but it looks...
It's just making it small. It looks like it's getting bigger, but
It looks like it's getting bigger. We have more space, right?
Oh, another thing, I had an idea about how all of us could fit in the tiny space.
How?
Become millionaires and get a mansion.
We all live maybe in the same house. Kendall, that's kind of the same idea. We would all live in one big building, right?
We would all live in the same house.
Right. So, when we were all, Elias, Lindsay, when we were all spread out, girls, we didn't have a lot of space for things like stores, or hospitals, or schools, right? They were all houses. But now that all of us, let's pretend that I were to add more and more stuff, everyone's living in one building, Lindsay, we would have room for those other things that we need, like hospitals and schools, right? So this is one way that people thought we could solve the problem, that we could create communities like this. And what kind of community is this?